Bonjour everyone. What are we doing today?
Today we are filming a video about art, fashion and spring colors.
So I just gave away my job to this beautiful lady.
We don't know who Camille is.
Yeah, that's okay.
The mystery woman.
So, can you please get the introduction?
Hi, my name is Camille. I'm 32 years old. I live in Paris and I manage the Comité Jacqueline Marval, which is an art organization dedicated to Jacqueline Marval.
So this is episode number 3 of Art and Fashion. So we decided to look at art from a different angle. Episode 3 is dedicated to spring.
Yes.
Here we have Camille, who has kindly let us into the studio. Can I call it studio?
Well, it's more a comité because we don't create anything here. This is the Comité Jacqueline Marval. It's a place that was born from my dad's fascination for Jacqueline Marval. He started collecting all these artworks about 45 years ago, and now we have about 100. The goal is to make Jacqueline Marval famous again.
We met Camille not long ago. You might remember her from one of our In the Bags.
Yes.
And this is how we got inside of this world and in the story. It's so relevant for spring fashion. This morning when I woke up and I said, I need to dress in more color, I kind of realized some people are struggling, but at the same time, it was so much fun.
It really was. For me, I love to incorporate colors to make the day more brightful and joyful. And I mean, as soon as the sun comes up, I want to take all my lighter pieces out and play with them. I'm working here full time. It's true that I get inspired a lot by the colors.
Jacqueline Marval was a very famous artist at the beginning of the 20th century. But then she was forgotten.
Exactly. The thing is, she had such an amazing life and an amazing career. She was so famous when she was alive. She exhibited worldwide from San Francisco to the Metropolitan in New York to Tokyo, all of this being a woman and before the 30s, which is insane. And she was extremely popular in France as well. She's the only woman who participated in the decoration of the Théâtre des Champs-Elysées.
Where we're gonna go,
yes.
A spoiler.
That's why we really want to show the world who she was and all the amazing paintings that she did.
It's a perfect painting to start the conversation because it's dedicated to spring.
Completely.
Right?
This one is called La Toilette du Printemps. It's a painting from 1907, and it's a painting that is quite representative of Jacqueline Marval's work.
And there's few things which are absolutely so interesting for me. First of all, the color palette, so it's a lot of pastels. Even though there are some bolder colors.
Jacqueline Marval was very famous for her colorist side as well.
Spring 2025, we saw quite a few collections which incorporated pastel colors into their runways. There's 3 brands in particular. It's the Miu Miu, and this was not planned.
Not Miu Miu.
Yeah, this is not staged. So Miu Miu, Prada, and Chloe. Inspiration comes with trying things and experimenting things ourselves. So I really want to talk about that. Then there's a lot of bows. Can we talk about bows? There's a lot of hair accessories. As you can see, today I have tried to interpret art into fashion through accessories.
Well, it's also a good reflection of her personality because she was quite extravagant and she loved dressing up and playing with accessories and especially hair accessories.
So why is this particular painting at the entrance?
So I wanted to put this one right at the entrance because of its color, mostly, because the colors are really bright pinks, blue, yellows. And so when you enter the space, it's the first thing you see and it really pops.
Some of the paintings we're discussing right now, well, women are often naked.
Yes, it's true.
What was that about?
Well, it's really interesting because for Jacqueline Marval, it's a way to reappropriate herself some art subjects that were rather masculine at the time. If you look at the work we've seen before, for example, La Toilette du Printemps, characters that are in Marval's works, they have a mirror. Us, as viewers, we can't see what is in the mirror. So even her women, her characters, they claim their own image as well.
Oh, wow. So there was definitely image that you want to portray in front of the others versus the image maybe others create about yourself. And it was an exploration of her own self through art.
Exactly, yes. You can see all the inspiration of those years on Jacqueline Marval. For example, the hairpiece, which is the one that inspired me today especially. And also if you look closely, even the makeup is very 20s because she has blue eyebrows, blue eyelashes, and a lot of blush and lipstick, just like Marval would do on herself.
Did they use blue?
Yes.
Makeup?
Marval, she would use blue or even green makeup, actually. Her being so inspired by all the colors and, the flowers also all her life probably was related to this.
She wanted to live through those colors and through that color palette herself.
Yes.
Let's talk a bit about this painting because this is a perfect example where art and fashion meets in a painting, literally. I have to talk a bit about my outfit today, which is quite out of character for me. This morning when I woke up and I thought that we have to talk about art and fashion and spring and about color, I realized just how much color is not really in my wardrobe. And what I did feel is how much fun it is. I mean, what would you say?
You did very well. It's quite similar. You have some purples here as well. And there, this is a very good Jacqueline Marval homage.
Representation.
Yes.
I'm very, very glad. Once you learn the color palettes, what we're doing today and what we're discussing is quite fun. So if you like to have fun with your fashion, you should definitely experiment how I did. And let us know also what you think.
This painting actually is quite important in our collection because Marval said in 1921, the year she painted this work, that it was her favorite one in an interview. One thing that is important to know is that Jacqueline Marval worked before working as an artist. She worked as an embroiderer and a seamstress. So she had a connection to fashion as well. And also she was very good friends with Paul Poiret, who would dress her, as well as Paquin and others. So it was something very important for her, and it was a way to show her true personality as well. First looks like a skirt, but in reality, if you look closely at the hand, you can see that you barely can see them actually, because she's moving so fast. And here you can see there's something going on that is a bit weird for, a regular skirt. And she's actually holding ribbons and she's dancing with those ribbons, which gives us the illusion that she's actually wearing a skirt. Marval creates this skirt-like, but it's actually just a dancer dancing and giving birth to all those flowers, going away.
I think one color combination that I have to mention is pink and red, which Marval has also used quite a lot. We don't need to look far to see the iconic red-pink color combination used by Marval and other artists, as well as by legendary designers like Elsa Schiaparelli, for example, in the costumes she created for Zaza Gabor in John Huston's 1952 film Moulin Rouge. We are heading to the Théâtre Champs-Elysées,
yes,
which connects so many things. It's one of the most iconic theaters in Paris, so let us show you that iconic spot. We're still in a historical and iconic Théâtre de Champs-Elysées.
We were brought here by Jacqueline Marval paintings, right?
Yes, it's an enigma, you can say, adventure. To continue the conversation of art and fashion,
Yes.
I would like to take you back to the 16th century, to Italian Renaissance. Because we literally want to demonstrate how art and fashion are totally interconnected. We're talking about Giuseppe Arcimboldo. I mean, it's a bit difficult to pronounce, but we have picked one of his very famous paintings, which is called The Spring.
Yes, it's part of his 4-season series, representing, well, obviously winter, spring, fall, and summer.
We wanted to show you and introduce you to this painting because it's a very interesting representation of portraits. It's very unconventional. And for me, also the fact that your conceptual fashion is unconventional as well. And literally, we can reveal the art.
This is a Comme des Garçons Arcimboldo skirt from a few years ago, representing the god of seasons.
Everything is again connected. Conceptual art, us wearing conceptual art. Voila, there was quite a bit of a difference in terms of what we have seen with Jacqueline Marval, but definitely a very interesting representation of the season as well. Jacqueline Marval did have a lot of famous friends, didn't she?
Yes, absolutely.
And one of these friends we're talking about today, right now, as our next selection.
Yes, he's quite a famous friend. His name was Henri Matisse, and today we'll talk about his painting The Open Window from 1905. The colors of the paintings that we'll talk about are really bold and strong, and some of them can remind us of the ones of Jacqueline Marval too.
And sometimes she would use a bold color with a pastel color.
Yes.
Versus when you look at Matisse, there's many more bold colors. And I think his approach, maybe in conversation, was a bit different. It was very emotional. Color was there to raise an emotion, but we can still learn how to use the color in fashion and in our outfits.
Exactly. Adding one piece of a very bold color is a perfect way to incorporate, more colors in your outfits because, there's not much risk with one bag, let's say, for example, or one piece.
Talking about art and fashion, another interesting fact to support the selection of Matisse is the fact that Yves Saint Laurent used a lot of art in his inspiration, particularly in 1980 collection, where he has used Matisse's cutout literally in one of his pieces.
Yeah, they're kind of inspiring each other and then blending in together.
Here goes the surprise. I wanted to talk about the fact that in the 18th and 19th century, pink color was considered the color for boys.
Exactly, for younger boys, yes.
And the blue was considered as the color for girls.
Because pink was associated with red, which is more of a synonym of strength and vitality, therefore more associated to masculinity in those years. And blue being more calming color, soft, so it was associated with femininity. It's crazy because it was like this for dozens of years. It changed quite recently, actually.
Because nowadays, for us, pink is for girls and blue is for boys.
Yeah.
Now the history has been rewritten. That was definitely like a big exploration for me. I'm introducing you to someone totally new, number one.
Yeah, I had no clue who this artist was.
Well, I had no clue neither until we went to Switzerland, to Saint-Moritz. I have discovered this gentleman and his work. This gentleman paints nowadays in the same color palette as Jacqueline Marval. Everything just got connected. So he was part of the 2024 exhibition, The Language of Color. He's inspired, unlike Marval, by Alpine own traditions. But what I find interesting is that he uses a very, very similar color palette, but in a very masculine way. Color is one of the most primal languages we understand. Before we speak, we feel through color. Jacqueline Marval, a female painter, used a color palette strikingly similar to one we discovered a century later in the work of Patrick Salute, a young male artist, both telling entirely different stories, yet connected through the emotions carried by similar colors. And I think there's one thing that we can learn all from Jacqueline Marval today. If you get inspired by something like around you, live through this inspiration to see where it takes you.
You have to follow your inspiration. That's exactly what Jacqueline Marval did, actually, because she had the inspiration to begin painting. And she just started and she went for it and she became the big artist that we know of now.
Thank you very much for today.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Well, hope you have enjoyed this episode number 3 on art and fashion.